What's up, dude?
That bud.
Uh, all right, everybody, welcome to the Cigar Tables, brought to you by TDM Cigars, where each cigar is rolled with legacy. One of these days, I'm gonna get that freaking tagline right, and yeah, and I'm the one who wrote
Yep.
it. um, what do you want to talk about, dude?
All right. What you got going on there?
Um, well, I'm going and making various sizes of this blend that I'm working on. So I have a blend that I'm hoping to have out by 2030 or 2035, depending on which factory I can get to make it. Unfortunately, it's too big of an undertaking for me to do on my own. So I'm going to contract out a factory to do it. And I've got a couple factories in mind, mostly in Nicaragua. One of them is in Dominican Republic. But it's we're working on a blend and I got it down. I'm pretty sure I'm like 90% solid on what the blend is really gonna be. But as a cigar maker taught me once, your blends are never going to be perfect to you. And it's true because I'm now changing the wrapper. I'm moving from a Mexican San Andres to a Nicaraguan Connecticut because I want to see if that smooths it out a little bit. I like it with the San Andres, man. That thing came out great. But I'm rolling some 44s. So
Okay.
it's a 44 ring gauge. I'm gonna try various lengths to see what the good hit point is on the length. And yeah, man, that's pretty much. You and I were talking earlier about what our future plans are and what we're looking to accomplish here, and that's about it, man. My my wife and kid are upstairs taking a nap, which is great. I'm kind of jealous. And I'm down here in the cigar lab, like a freaking mad scientist trying to put some stuff together. What do you got going
The
on?
cigar lab.
The cigar lab, yeah, the dungeon. What do you got going on?
None. Got some guys here replacing my furnace. Was that decided to go out this past week?
Ah, well, at least it's not in the middle of the that dead ass winter we just went through.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm so happy that we're having the weather we are now because I can have the windows open and just fresh air flowing through the house. Yeah, if it was like 2 weeks ago, it would have been a problem with all
So
that snow and stuff.
so we got some shows coming up, man.
Yeah, we do.
So we got the I just got done filming the recap for the our first video that unfortunately camera
Yeah.
didn't catch, so I'm going to be posting that soon. By the time you guys see this video, it'll already be out. So, let us know. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you're listening
Yeah.
to the podcast, go ahead and check us out on YouTube under at TDM Cigars and take a look at us at under the cigar table and let us know what you think. If you have any ideas for future episodes or if there's a particular subject that you want to talk about, hit us up there. We're also find us on our socials. You're going to find us also under the Big Chief Cigar Review on Facebook and at TDM Cigars on Facebook. But yeah, if there's anything anybody out there wants us to talk about, feel free. If there's any questions or anything, upcoming shows. So we're gonna smoke the three cigars that I made on the first episode when we were talking about the plant anatomy. The following episode was talking about the three rolling styles, the difference between a entubado versus the hybrid method or the accordion method, and also known as booking.
Mhm.
Uh, and then We another episode that's also coming up talking about the difference between freshly rolled cigars, rested cigars, and properly aged cigars, and what does it do, and some common misnomers. Episode after that, we're going to be talking about some myths, legends, and misnomers about cigars and tobacco. Because we can't talk about science all the time.
Yeah.
And then, if there's again any specific shows anybody wants to talk about, we are going to be discussing humidity. We're going to be talking about the difference between cigar cutters and styles. Also, lighting styles. Does it really make a difference in what type of flame you use for cigars? So, I mean, I'm a Neanderthal. Like, if as long as I got fire, I'll light a cigar. I don't care.
Me have fire.
Oh my God. Listen, so when I was looking for products to sell on my online store, by the way, we do have an online store, www.tdmcigars.com. Unfortunately, right now we're in a big site migration, so the actual store is down, but the blogs and all that stuff are still there. So just be patient with us, and the site will be up hopefully within the next couple of weeks. With that said, so I was looking at products to sell on the website. Now, I don't want to be just any cookie cutter cigar company. So I went to Harbor Freight because, every once in a while, a man's got to do retail therapy. What do we buy? Lighters, knives, watches, flashlights, and guns, right? Those are the things that we
Yeah.
tend to buy. And I saw this thing, and I'm going to call it a thing. I'm going to have to bring it down to do a review on it on an episode. It's an actual barbecue lighter. I mean, the flame on that is like 7 to 8 inches long,
Is
and
it the red one?
yeah, the big red one.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That
So
that thing is pretty cool.
it is cool. I contacted the company, and unfortunately, their MOQ, which is their minimum order quantity, is so high. Unfortunately, like I couldn't afford it right now to buy their minimum order. But I'm gonna tell you, once we get up and running and we start to have a little bit more revenue, because understand that 99% of the whatever revenue we make goes directly back into the company. So
Yeah.
Jesse and I pretty much work for free until this company goes up. So and I bring it to shows whenever I do the vendor events, and that's what gets the conversation started. I sit here, I feel like the guy under the ring top. Here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, welcome to the craziest show on earth. And here I am with a 7 inch flame away from it. I have a beard. Can you imagine me setting my face on fire? How funny would that shit be? I mean, I wound up in the burn intensive care unit, but I got customers.
Listen, I would probably check to see if you're okay, and then I'd laugh.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's the number one? What's the number one treatment for burns? Stop the burn.
Hmm.
Just hit me with the biggest cup of water or tea or soda or whatever. Just put me out, man. I mean, it doesn't. It helps the fact that I'm uglier than sin, so I'm not going to be really losing much.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, we got a couple events coming up ourselves. If you're in the tri-state area in Pennsylvania, the Tullytown Fire Department, Station 33 in Tullytown, Pennsylvania, is going to be holding their annual cornhole tournament, May 30th. So if
Hmm.
you would like to play the cornholes, please make sure you come in and register. If you go down to the TDM Facebook page, we also have the events set up there where you can scan your barcode and go ahead sign up for the cornhole tournament.
Or
Uh,
if you want to just come down and get
oh,
some cigars from us, we'll be there.
absolutely, TDM Cigars is going to be there. Trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to bring a rolling station or not. We haven't figured out the logistics of that yet, but it's in the works. Um, Also, we have partnered up again with the Bucks County EMS Angels. We do a lot of their motorcycle events. They raise funds for PTSD awareness for first responders and military and suicide prevention. As you know, Jesse and I are both first responders, and we highly support this because, those are our brothers and sisters, and they're taking their own lives because there really isn't help for us. Not a lot of psychologists and therapists see what we see. They don't understand the language. If we go and talk to mental health advocates, they kind of look at us like we're crazy and they throw us in a grippy sock vacation. And that's not really what we need. We
No.
yeah, man, we just need to somebody to talk to us and just kind of understand a little bit. I gotta unwrap this one. This is the one thing I don't like. So whenever you have a problem like that, as you saw that, and I have a
Yeah.
double binder here, elongate the binder. So instead of it being wide, make it longer. Then you come all the way back here again. And then we're gonna start all the way back here. And as you see, that second binder will tag it. And then it'll continue on to roll. There we go. So we also have, let's see, we have an event in June with the EMS Angels. There's another one in August. Again, check the TDM Facebook page for those specific dates. I also have a couple of dates that I will not be there. Unfortunately, we have prior engagements. However, if you'd like to donate again to suicide and awareness, PTSD, that kind of a thing for military and first responders, please again go ahead, check out the Bucks County EMS Angels chapter, or check out our Facebook page at TDM Cigars.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the New England Cigar Expo coming up in September.
Yes, we will be
But
there.
yeah, we're going to be there all along with the heads of the cigar families. I know Nick Perdomo is going to be there. Uh, Steve Saka from Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. The Aroa brothers from CLE and Aroa will be there. McAuliffe will be there. Amanda McAuliffe will be there. Rafael Nodal, he's going to be there. So there's going to be a plethora. Rocky Patel, he's going to be there. Also, a couple things to look out for. The cigar industry is definitely in need of help because the federal government is deciding to take more and more rights away from us. So if you would like to go ahead and support the cigar industry so you can continue to enjoy a premium handmade product, please seek out some information at CRA, which is Cigar Rights of America. It's $25 a year. And there's also the application to be a life member. And what it does is that it actually helps us fund all the lawyer fees and all that stuff and our lobbyists to help us fight our fight against the government and for us to enjoy, again, a premium handmade product. We're all adults. We have the ability to, uh, you know, make our own decisions. And I think cigar smokers are very responsible. We don't like to smoke around groups. We don't smoke around parks. We don't smoke, in vastly populated areas. And they're lumping us up with the vape and cigarette industry, which we are definitely not.
No, we are not even
So
close.
they'll actually help us out. So I can tell you what. So my sister's in Mexico because she's
Mhm.
building a house out there to retire to, and I just because we grow tobacco in Carlisle, Kentucky. So I asked her, "Hey, when are we planting?" And she's telling me probably not until the end of May, which is a little on the late side for her because they usually start planting at the end of April. But she's got some business down in Mexico and dealing some stuff, and I told her to stop over and pick up some San Andres tobacco, and she just told me that they have a brand new um a brand new plot that just went up. So I should have some next year, which I'm working with it today. Well, not today. I was working with it yesterday. But yeah, man, the San Andres is very, very popular. It's a little hard to come by, unfortunately, but it's a stick. So this is Dominican. This is Dominican binder. So binder is usually like wrapper isn't good enough quality to be a wrapper, so they drop it down as binder. And look at how thick this is. This got to be diesel. Unfortunately, they don't really when I buy my tobacco in bulk, I have to go look at the paperwork. I'm not 100% sure, but binder sometimes it's mixed. And if you take a look here, there's a little patch. You can barely see it on this side, but it's a little patch there.
Hmm.
So again, we don't use it for wrapper because it's not pretty enough. Yeah, I shop for cigars the way, and I like the way that they look. But I've smoked some cigars that look like dog rockets, but they've come out to taste like some of the best.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you like look at a cigar and you're like, I don't know how this is gonna be, and then it turns out to be like one of the best ones that you smoke.
Oh yeah, like look at the Toscanos. So Toscano is made with American tobacco and Italian tobacco. They are they're fire cured, so they don't require humidification for extended periods of time. And they some of them look like absolute dog rockets. But my God, they're delicious.
Hmm.
They're delicious. If you ever watched any of the spaghetti westerns with like Clint Eastwood and all that stuff, the
Yeah.
cigars that he's smoking, those are Toscanos. So Toscanos have been around forever, forever. So I don't know if some of you are noticing in the video here that I'm cutting these Ligero in half. The reason why I'm doing that is twofold. One, these are 44 ring gauge. So since the ring gauge is so much smaller, it requires a lot less tobacco. And when you buy a different size vitola, all of these blends have to be reworked for that vitola. So what they do is, so they'll like, all right, I'm gonna come out with a cigar blend. So they'll come out with a Toro or a Robusto, and they work out that blend, and then they reverse engineer that blend for other size vitolas. And that's why if you ever notice that there's people that have preferences for a specific vitola, like I love Toros. I used to be a Gordo guy. I used to love the Gordo size. And then as I got older, the flexibility of my mandible started to kind of bother me. And I've presented with TMJ when my jaw locks up. So I can't really smoke the big ring gauges anymore, not to mention the fact that the flavor is different. You get some, I know you people are seeing me cut that instead of tearing it. I like it because it gives me a little bit more of a uniform cut. Anyways, um, so I love Toros. Robustos are okay for me, but sometimes I'll over smoke them. Right, I'll smoke it a little too fast, and I wasn't paying attention to the orientation of the leaf, so I have to flip everything. Um, so the Robustos I'll overburn, and then they get super bitter.
Yeah.
Uh, Not me, dude. I'll champ through the cigar. I'll never throw a cigar away. If you see me throwing a cigar away, that's a dog rocket. I had absolutely no choice.
Yeah, it's very rare that you ever get rid of a cigar.
Oh yeah, man. I will power through that thing as much as I humanly can. See, that's the difficulty with working with two different binders. Because sometimes we notice that one was right after the other, and then for some reason it just overlapped weird. But it's okay to unravel this and start over.
That's what I tell everybody at work when I'm teaching them to drive like the trucks. Listen, R is not for something else, it's for reverse. It's to get you
Right.
out of situations, not put you in situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we say in the motorcycle world, sometimes you got to drop gear and disappear, you know?
Yep.
This piece is ticking me off. I'm just gonna get rid of it. So, what's your favorite size cigar?
Hmm. I
Because
don't.
I see you smoke everything, dude.
I do. I do. I don't really like the really big ring gauges. I just feel like it's too much. Um, and I'm talking like really, really big, like I would say probably 60 and up.
60, see, 60 is like my stop point. Like I still like my God, I have so many stinking humidors that I still have cigars that are have been there for like years. The Rocky Patel Sun Grown in the
Hmm.
by 60 used to be my go-to. I mean, I bought cases, not boxes, cases of that cigar. I even bought a bunch of the seconds because, there was nothing wrong with it, right? And when I started to really like branch out onto, I like Coronas. I don't know why. I like the 42s, the 44s, and the 46s. I like them. Um, the 52s and the 54s. I like that. I tend to stop between 60 is my max. I don't like 58s. You find them very rarely, but
Hmm.
58, I don't know. But I like the 56, our house blend, our Super Toro, that
Yeah,
in 56. Now that's a good cigar.
that is.
And
The
I'm not
Toros and Super Toros of ours are really good.
so the our Super Toros come in three blends. Well, it's the same blend, different wrappers.
Yeah.
It's got the Maduro has a Mexican San Andres on it, with a Nicaraguan binder, and the fillers from Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, and Colombia. It comes in three different wrappers: Connecticut, a Habano, and a Maduro. But it also comes in a barber pole. I'm gonna tell you that barber pole is well made. I like the barber pole, but I'm
Forgot that
not.
we had the barber bulls.
You haven't had it yet?
No, I have. I'm just so used to us only having the Maduro, Connecticut, and Habano.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm not a Connecticut guy, but there are a couple of Connecticut's that I really enjoy. I enjoy our Connecticut in all three sizes, in the Robusto, the Toro, and the Super Toro, and I love Aganorsa Connecticut's. It doesn't matter which Connecticut it is. Aganorsa Leaf makes some of the best Connecticut cigars there are.
I'll
Um,
have to try some of them.
yeah, like the JFR Titan.
Hmm.
I enjoy that one. That's actually very good in the Connecticut. Don't smoke it during the winter though. Let me tell you something. That wrapper explodes.
Really.
Yeah, it's dry outside. The most Connecticut wrappers, because the Connecticut wrapper is so thin. It's treated very differently from the rest of the tobacco. Um, it's so thin and delicate, like Candela, the green leaves. Oh, and I love Candela. We make a good Candela too. We do an excellent Candela. The only other Candela that I like, because Candela is a very acquired taste. The only other person that makes a good Candela is the Elevated Humidor. They make an amazing Candela. Um, and it's funny, people's like, oh, Candela's an old man cigar. It's like, well, I'm old at heart. What can I tell you? What's your favorite rapper?
Um,
I don't mean musician.
You know me, I'm not really
I, bro,
a
but you're
rapper.
yeah, but you're a smart ass. You were gonna say like LL Cool J or something. Like I gotta preempt, I gotta preemptively stop you.
Yeah.
I mean, because that would have been my response. I'd be like, well, what's your favorite rapper? LL Cool J.
I mean,
I mean,
the man's not that bad.
I'm more of an Eminem fan, but LL Cool J's like he's got his history, man.
Oh yeah. I'd probably go with probably Habano. It's what I've been at in lately.
What?
Habano to Maduro, pretty much.
All right. Now, what about strength profile?
Um, I'd say I'm probably like on the medium, maybe medium full.
All right.
What about you?
I like my cigars so strong they show up on a drug test.
That is true. You like them to be like, pow, right in the kisser.
Oh my god, dude. And the whole thing is like I was never like that. This is over the last couple of years. My palate has grown to like I like them strong.
Mhm.
I like them strong. I don't like them peppery though.
Yeah,
So
I'm not too big on the peppery side either. Um, I do kind of get like I don't know how to explain that. Like I get kind of like turned off by
no,
like the peppery.
I get it. Nicaraguan tobacco is usually the stuff that's the most peppery, and
Hmm.
that's usually again like when you start talking about like Connecticut's and all that stuff, like they have Connecticut cigars are for me personally, I find them to be mostly pepper bombs. And I just that's not my thing. I love the doble oscuro, which is like the reed like the cigars so dark they're almost black.
Oh yeah.
I like those cigars, but I like them to be heavy and rich. Like how do I explain it? Like if you're having a pot roast, do you want a gravy that's watery, or do you want a gravy that's it's so thick that it takes 10 minutes to come off the wall? Like I want a cigar like I'm eating a steak.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Like if I'm smoking a cigar, I'm like, all right, he's smoking a cigar.
Yo, so um actually the other night, surprisingly, I was out I was outside and I was smoking and Rachel had put in um a pizza. It was a Philly cheesesteak pizza and she brought it out and I was like, really don't want to like eat this and have a cigar at the same time, but I was smoking a Padron and like it just sitting there and smelling. I was like, all right, I gotta take a bite. And like for some odd reason, that like cigar and that pizza, like it just made everything taste a lot better. And it was weird.
I mean, listen, like to be brutally honest with you, there's a lot of food pairings. Like, I know I got a buddy of mine that he smokes. Um, he'll smoke Nicaraguan cigars primarily, but he'll switch back and forth between Nicaraguan and Dominican, and he eats pineapples while he smokes his cigars. I
Okay.
can't do it. It's not in my palate. I mean, that's not my wheelhouse, but I can see why because the acidity in the pineapples changes the flavor of the tobacco. And he says that man, it does it for him, and I'm down for it. What I do is like when I'm working on blends and I have to smoke multiple cigars, next to each other, I'll have like a slice of lemon or lime, and that cleans my palate out. But I also have to wait a couple of seconds to kind of let the acidity kind of die down.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's food pairings, man. I know a guy. His wife is a cigar smoker, big cigar smoker. She has ice cream with her cigars, vanilla, French vanilla ice cream, and I'm like, oh, okay, kind of like I listen to a lot of different cigar podcasts. One of my favorite is the Cigar Authority, and Dave Garofalo keeps talking about having milk with his cigars. I tried it, and I got to tell you, it there's something there. I mean, I wouldn't do it every day, but like
Yeah.
get it. And I've also talked to a lot of cigar blenders and the old school Cuban guys. They'll have a glass of milk when they're testing out their cigars because it coats the palate and it allows them to taste those background flavors a little bit better. And I'm just like, all right, I couldn't do it all the time. That's just again not my wheelhouse. No judgment here, but
Mm.
so
I
that
just got
sound that
some.
everybody just heard is my timer because I have some cigars inside of a press right now, and they need to
Mhm.
be rotated 90 degrees because everybody thinks that there's a magic number to press these cigars, and it varies on the vitola and the ring gauge. And I have some 52s that are in the oven,
So to speak.
so to speak. And I'm gonna pull them out in a second. Just rotate them real quick.
So I just got a bunch of Cuban sandwiches that came in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna let them sit for a little bit in the humidor and then smoke one.
So Cuban sandwich. Do you know what that is?
Um,
I'm gonna hear the couple that I made earlier. Ooh, look how pretty.
yeah, they look good.
Hi. So, um, as you know, I want to open up my own factory, right?
Yeah.
And let me ask you something. Do you think people are gonna want to work for a guy that doesn't know what the hell he's doing?
No, I hate that.
So like this is one of the reasons why I took up cigar rolling because like I'm all about is I don't ever want to do a job that I wouldn't, I don't ever want to assign somebody a job that I wouldn't want to do myself. You know, not to mention the fact that it's rare to find a cigar shop owner that also has his own cigar company. And I'm working on my TBV license, which is my factory license. That's going to take a while. So while, I raise the money for the factory and all that kind of stuff, what do? I hone my skills. And I'm definitely not going to cut these down.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave them this length as much as possible because I put some different transitions in these. I mean, the transitions are all the same in each cigar, but it's different from what I've done before. And
Okay.
I desperately want to see how they come out. They're wet, as you can see, they're all weird, but that it makes, when you're working with a little bit of harder tobacco, having it wet, it's a little bit easier to, manipulate without it crunching. The
Hmm.
problem that you now look, see all these lines? When you rotate them 90 degrees, you put them back in the press for another 30 to 40 minutes. I usually do 45 minutes one side, 45 minutes the other. Um, they say you don't have to do it that long. That's just my preference. And I've noticed that I get a little bit of a better product.
Okay.
So that goes back into the press, and then I set my timer.
Going out within an hour or two. You're gonna drop some oil and start it up.
All right, I rotated those, and then we get back to rolling this small vitola that I'm working on now. They're both the exact same blend. I'm working on
I
the.
was just about to ask that.
It's the same blend. I'm working on the ratios for different sizes vitolas.
Hmm.
So Now you had asked me something off
Hold
air.
on.
Okay. So yeah, this the those two different vitolas are actually the same blend. I just you have to figure out, how much of each leaf to add because it does change the flavor.
Hmm.
Was
I,
this
I
one?
was going to ask you that if they were the same blend.
Yeah, it's the same blend.
Okay.
This is why, like, if we were talking about earlier, like our favorite sizes. That's why if you really really break down each size, they taste a little bit different. You can't
Hmm.
always tell, but sometimes they have a hint of that doesn't taste the same. It's because each size is reblended for the size.
Yeah.
So
And also, like, no two cigars are going to be the same.
no, I mean, so that you want them to be the same, but you also don't want them to be the same. It's really up to the blender and
Hmm.
what the message of the cigar is supposed to be. This is gonna be weird. So if you notice this, that's all torn up. That's all torn up. Let's see what we can do here. See if we can work some magic. Um,
I got
but yeah,
faith.
depends on what the blender is trying to do, what the what the owner wants to do.
Mhm.
Sometimes the people who own the brands are like, well, I want this message to be sent through the cigar and all this kind of stuff. What the message that I want is I want consistency, I want reliability, and I want a good solid smoke no matter what you're doing. Whether you're mowing your lawn or you're, walking the dog or hanging out with friends or whatever. I want my cigars to be reliable and consistent, that you can count on it every single time you light it. So we cut the tips, just like before, put them where they need to go. The bottom. So, oh, you were talking about Cuban sandwiches.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So Cuban sandwiches, you know what they really are? They're a mix between short filler and long filler. So what they do is they'll take a lot of the scraps, and I'll show you my scrap bag in a second. But they'll take a lot of the scraps and they'll put pieces of long filler in it for like structure and stability.
hmm
And they use the scraps because nothing in making cigars, nothing goes to waste.
Yeah.
So
I
now, if you're smoking a fumas, that usually means one of two things. Either it's a little purito, meaning it's a single leaf, so you can actually taste what the leaf does on its own, or it's usually like all short filler.
okay. I know earlier we were talking about all the scraps and nothing goes to waste, and you were saying that you wanted to get a tobacco shredder so we can like make it into pipe tobacco.
Oh
It's been
yeah.
a very long time since I had like a, a pipe
So
smoke.
now, like, I got a buddy of mine that smokes pipes, right? And sometimes he'll ask me for some of my scraps. And what he'll do is he'll take a dark English Cavendish and he'll mix his pipe tobacco with cigar tobacco, and he makes his own blends. And I've tasted some of this stuff, and let me tell you, it's delicious. I mean, it's different. Because you get the misnomer about pipe tobacco is that, oh my god, it must taste like it smells. It doesn't.
Hmm.
The Cavendish is what you call an aromatic, so it smells amazing, but it definitely doesn't taste the way it smells. Um, so what winds up happening, I gotta do this all over again. So what winds up happening is you'll pick up some aromatics because it smells nice, and you're like, oh, let me try to pipe tobacco for the first time, whatever, and then you get turned off because it doesn't taste like it smells.
Yeah.
And so what he did is I've got like 60 blends that I've been working on my own, and he takes some of my scraps because if they sit for too long, they'll start to ferment again. So he'll take some of my scraps and he gets a cigar shredder, not a cigar shredder, a tobacco shredder, and he mixes it in certain proportions, and he'll make his own pipe blend. And I think I'm going to do the same. I have a You can get any run of the mill Cavendish, and again, it's not like I'm selling it. This is for me and for my friends, whoever wants it.
Yeah.
And but here for YouTube land, here's my bag, right? And now, mind you, this is all the same blend. I do not mix blends in scrap bags. I have separate bags for the blends that I'm working with. But I've been working on this same blend for the last 3 months now. So this is all the scraps that I have for about 200 cigars, which is not bad.
No.
I have a Boveda pack in here, so it stays a certain humidity. And then I got to get a tobacco shredder. I might just take a knife and just cut it, into strips, and then mix some Cavendish in it, and then let it sit for about 6 months to a year. And then I got a good tobacco blend for pipes. So, but yeah, man. Yeah, this year I'm gonna try and definitely build that empire brick by brick, little by little, with your help and the help of our viewers.
Hmm.
Just promoting the cigar culture, the cigar lifestyle, and bringing our brothers and sisters of the leaf together as one family and under one umbrella. And the other thing that I want to do is I want to bring tobacconists from across the United States together, and that way we're not fighting against each other. We're promoting each other. We're promoting again the lifestyle, the culture, and maybe we can get some freedoms going, because the way that the
Yeah.
government's looking at us right now, and with all these tariffs and all that, we don't have a voice. We don't have enough of a voice, and if we're fighting against each other, we're not going to get anywhere. We see that in EMS. Like you have paramedics and EMTs. They're some of the most highly trained 12-year-olds you'll ever meet. We can't get out of our own way. The cigar industry is pretty much the same way, very similar. Bunch of type A personalities, thinks that everybody knows what they're doing. Meanwhile, none of us know what we're doing. But if we were together collectively, we'd have a clue and an idea.
Yeah.
Like I have, when it comes to the actual product and whatnot, I have an extensively more knowledgeable than you. However, you, my friend, I've watched you sell a snow cone to a freaking Eskimo. So
Somebody walked up to only get one cigar and left with half a box.
I know. I was like, I mean, I'm a good salesman. Trust me. I got the gift of gab, but you, my friend, it's just, I'm like, what the hell? I was
You always tell me that.
listen. I like it when listen, the way to be the most effective leader is to surround yourself with people smarter than you. And I live my life that way.
There, I feel like um, there's a saying, um, if you surround yourself with millionaires or six millionaires, you'll be the seventh.
Yep.
I feel like that applies to this also.
Yeah, man.
Ooh,
You saw that, right?
yeah.
How to get a cigar guy's attention. Pull out a beautiful Connecticut wrapper.
I know. I was like, ooh.
It stopped you mid sentence too, man.
It did. I ain't gonna lie.
So this is a Nicaraguan Connecticut. It's freshly cased. Well, it was cased overnight. So you'll see a little bit of it looks like water spots, but that'll actually dry out
Hmm.
significantly. So if you see, you can barely see, but the veins are pointing up because this is where it faces the sun. This is the bottom of the leaf, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is where this comes important. Very light mist. Okay. And then we put it forward. Smooth. You gotta be soft with it. This is not like some of the other tobaccos that I work with that are super thick and veiny and all that kind of stuff. All right, Daddy's going to work.
Uh-oh, he's rolling the sleeves up.
I know, right? But again, you got these torceadores, which are the people who put the wrapper on. That's
Hmm.
what they primarily do all day. They're doing, 300 to 500 cigars a day. So they're much faster at it than I am. But look at this, right? Now, to make it a little extra smoother, I have a little bit of a roller, nice and gentle. Just kind of press down these veins a little bit. Okay. And we push out. Now, again, I'm boutique. I don't have a factory or anything like that. So my output is not, oh, I just cut that bit. That's all right. So my output's not that big, which is totally fine. So we're going to go ahead and start cutting here. Now you got to be really, really careful when you peel this apart. You can inadvertently, see, just like that, which is okay because we'll fix that and I'll show you how to fix it.
Hello?
Hold on 1 second.
Hello?
All right. While Jesse takes a phone call, we're going to continue on.
That is a really sexy wrapper.
Now, if you don't want to see that, which you won't because it'll be towards the end, you can either cut it or you can hide it. And if you notice, you won't even see it.
Hmm.
Very, very small amount of cigar glue. And we're going to go ahead and seal this here. Take our little teardrop here. And while we're at it, we're going to make our cap. Now, if you don't know what size to use, just grab your cap cutter and measure. It's perfectly fine.
Hmm.
trying to be as delicate as I possibly can because again, this is a very thin and finicky wrapper.
Yeah.
It's actually my first time working with it. So you will see some mistakes of mine because again, never worked with this wrapper before. Fortunately, like it does want to bunch up on itself. Take your time.
These really are some very nice looking Connecticut's.
And now I like the way these Connecticut's come out.
Mm,
Um, just they are so finicky. And they're so
yeah.
thin. And I don't like I really don't like anything going to waste. So I got a bunch of wrappers there that I've made cigars with them before, but I haven't really tried any of these new blends on them.
Hmm.
That's the problem, man. When you start working on blends, you're like, oh, maybe this will go with it, or maybe this will go with that, and you kind of get stuck in a loop. And then, like I said before, nothing comes out to be perfect. And the funniest thing I've heard is like, it doesn't have to be perfect. People just have to like it.
True.
So we should probably talk about something. We got a lot of dead air if you're going to put this on the podcast.
Yeah. Um. Every every cigar gets a flag and a cap, right?
So no, that's something funny that you should mention that. Now, I'm going to save this so I can use it as scrap, and I'll show you why in a minute. So yes, you there's different styles, right? There's factories that will actually take and make a flag out of the wrapper while it's still attached. There's some people that will make they'll make a teardrop or a crescent moon, or they'll make different shapes for the flag and the cap. So it will vary on the factory. So it's mostly for aesthetics and also for so the cigar doesn't unravel.
Hmm.
Um, get a nice.
I've had that before where like I go to um cut my cigar and then next thing I know the wrapper's starting to unravel.
Well, that usually what that means is that when you look at the very very top of the cigar, right, all the way up here, there's the
Hmm.
cap. That's as far as you want to go. When you start going down here, this is called the shoulder. If you start cutting down here, that's when the cigar will completely unravel on you.
Yeah.
But you just, that's why, sometimes when I see a cigar and I'll cut, I have a complete cap. So you have to cut that on mine or at least a punch. But, man, these came out gorgeous. But yeah, when you start working with cigars that they have a light cap on it, or like I have a triple cap, which is how the Cubans do it. Um, that's when, if you cut too far down, when you cut too far down, the whole cigar will just and it'll explode.
Yeah, I try to tell people that like um I've seen like going to cut their cigar and I'm like, whoa, 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 before you cut it all the way down there, like you're risking the cigar coming apart. And like I don't like, so I've seen like plenty of people they cut them like where it's almost flat. You don't have like the little bit of a head on it.
So they'll literally, there's the camera. So they'll cut it right there, right? They'll cut the whole head off instead of
Yeah.
just right here at the cap, right? Because it's exactly where you want to cut it. And they'll
Hmm.
cut all the way down here. Listen, let me tell you, some of the misadventures that I've had when I first started smoking cigars. My God, I've had cigars literally explode on me because either they were under humidified and I smoked in a very humid environment, or vice versa. And man, that sucked. Let me tell you.
I can only imagine. I've had a couple do that, but I it was mainly like I think it was the humidification portion of it.
And it's funny because, like, I want to say about 80% of cigar failures are user error.
Yeah.
And the other 20% is just, either the roller was having a bad day, or again, they're handmade products. So every once in a while, and it's rare, but every once in a while, it will make it through the quality control.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you don't, and most times, believe it or not, you're not going to know how a cigar is going to do until it's lit. They're only surmising on what the cigar characteristics are actually going to be. It's like, all right, well, so right here, let's use each other.
Speaking of you don't know until it's actually lit. I do love the story behind the Drew Estate Underground.
All right, talk about it.
So I was actually on a back when we were kind of still in the COVID era. Drew Estate was actually putting on like these little virtual like events, and I was on a lot of them. Uh, as you know, but I was talking to them and like I asked them what was the story behind it, and uh, Pedro actually told me he was like, "Listen, the Underground was actually done and made by the Rollers, and they were just smoking them in the factory. Like it wasn't even a production thing. They were just putting cigars together and made by the rollers and everything, and that's what they were smoking while they were making cigars. And that's how the underground came about. And then they just expanded from that because uh, JD and Pedro and all them were at the factory, and all these guys were smoking these cigars, and then they ended up getting one, and they're like, "What blend is this?" And they ended up telling them that it was just something that they put together, and because they didn't want to end up smoking their own product while they're rolling it also. So they just put something together, and that's what they came up with, and that's how the underground was made.
That's pretty cool.
And the underground 10 was just like the 10-year anniversary.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it was cool that they kind of divulged that little bit of a secret, but I guess it's not really a secret anymore.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes, and you know, I truly believe that sometimes it's just better to let your people do their own thing. And my only stickler is you got to give credit to where credit's due.
Yeah.
You know, if if I created something, then it's mine. But if my people create something, you know what? I had nothing to do with it. I just paid for it. That's one of the reasons why I can't wait to have my own factory because
Yeah.
at least once a year I'm going to say like, all right, guys, come up with something. You know, whoever comes up with something gets a nice fat bonus, and they get their picture in the box.
That's always good.
You know, nice fat bonus. Be like, yo, you deserve this, man or woman.
Yeah.
Hey, this
I
stuff.
can't wait till we get to that stage. And
It's a long ways from now, but you know, sometimes you're just gonna have to have one of those fuck it moments, and you know, just kind of pull the trigger on things.
oh, what do you mean? Like how this whole thing got started?
Yeah, yeah. Screw all of you, by the way.
It
You know,
only took us how long to convince you?
I had a plan. I had a plan, a very detailed plan, mind you, on how I wanted this to come to fruition. And then you and Nick come up to me and call me a certain word that I can't say on YouTube. And I was just like, all right, fine. Peer pressure. Never
Oh
felt
yeah, yeah, right.
never felt a peer pressure in high school or college, in the military, nothing. Not even in EMS. And then you momos come around and you're like, oh, stop being a punk. And I was just
Yeah.
like, fine.
Yeah, we're basically like, what are you waiting for? Okay, stop waiting for that and just do it. Because if you don't, then you're not going to do anything at all.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta chuck it in the fuck it bucket and just say, all right, YOLO.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're still in the infancy stage, but we're not too bad.
I'll tell you what though, and I'll be brutally honest with you. You, Alan, Steve, all you guys, you invested your time and your energy. I invested my time, my energy, my money, my sanity. I'm about to probably give a left testicle for this company, but I cannot stress that I would not have gotten as far as I am now without you guys. And it really stresses the fact that you got to surround yourself, but with good people.
Yeah.
Gotta surround yourself with good people. And I am definitely going to be repaying you guys back. And we have a lot of adventures planned, and I like setting up the dinner table so we can all eat.
Yeah,
Because if we all eat, we're all happy,
that is true.
you know. And I can, and you know what the cool part is? I can legitimately say this is family owned and operated because we
Yeah.
broke, and then I got my wife, you got your wife, you got Alan, got Steve, got Attilio, got my ride or die crew. Which never thought I'd have a true ride or die crew. I've had a couple really cool crews growing up. My brother from another mother, Justin. We've literally been friends since freshman year of high school, and we're old, so that's a long, long time ago.
Hmm.
Um, but it's actually pretty cool, man. It's a lot of fun, a lot of work. If you're thinking about opening up a cigar shop or starting a cigar company, don't unless you're willing to put everything on the line because it really does involve putting a lot of stuff on the line.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones that I actually have people around me that give a damn. My mother-in-law, my wife, like who can really say that about their mother-in-law? Everybody's like, oh my god, my mother-in-law, dude, my mother-in-law's cool as shit.
Hmm.
Ever since my mom passed away, God rest her soul, Big Mama D. Um, like my mother-in-law has really stepped up. She's an amazing grandma to my kid. She's an amazing mother-in-law. She doesn't treat me any different than she treats her own daughter. Sometimes I think she likes me better. Um, my wife's
Don't
cool.
tell her that.
No, no, no. I tell her shit like that all the time just to mess with her. Um, but like I said, I'm one of the lucky ones. Not everybody can see that,
Hmm.
you know. So so we got what other events we got coming up, dude? We got the I know got the cornhole, we got the EMS Angels, we have several events coming up. I know the Knights of the Inferno. They're also a motorcycle group. They're a firefighter, first responder motorcycle group, just like the EMS Angels. They
Hmm.
have some stuff. I know those two entities kind of banded together.
Yeah. They're
So
kind of working hand in hand with each other now.
yeah. So yeah, go check those guys out, man. Knights of the Inferno, EMS Angels. They're up for doing like really positive things for the first responder community, military community, and all that.
Yeah. They're very big into that. If you want, we can close it out here.
Yeah, man. So
All
all
right,
right,
everyone. So this has been the Cigar Table Podcast. Uh, you got to see some of the more rolling from Alex here. We got a little conversation about different things going on. We got a bunch of events coming up. May 30th at Tullytown Fire Company. Their cornhole event will be there. Stop by, register if you want to play some cornhole. Um, we have some more events in August and September. September, we're going to the expo. Um,
and yeah,
just
I think that's pretty much it. So from us to you, thank you for joining us again. This is the Cigar Table, sponsored and brought to you by TDM Cigars. And if you have any questions, again, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all the things, and ask your questions on the platform. We're also available on Spotify for our podcast, soon to be Apple podcast, and wherever good cigars are sold.
Stay smoky, my friends.
Absolutely.